leaving organizations exposed to unknown blind spots. Take a company launching a brand new, seemingly secure database for its web application. To secure it, an ethical hacker maps the outer perimeter and digs deep into the core, a methodology called recon to root. They scan those digital doors, probing the system to find unpatched software and hidden weak links. But simply finding an open door isn't enough to secure the system. The hacker must figure out how to chain multiple small weaknesses together to bypass internal defenses and gain full root control of that core database. Here is the critical pivot. Once they successfully breach the core, they don't steal the data. Instead, they document the exact attack chain they used, so the organization can surgically patch those paths. This proactive methodology is exactly what the free Cisco Networking Academy Ethical Hacker course trains students to do, using real-world capture-the-flag simulations to prepare professionals for a massive global talent gap in cybersecurity. And that new database from the beginning, it launches perfectly safely because an ethical hacker already broke into it first.
Are you ready to advance your cybersecurity career? CompTIA's cybersecurity pathway will get you there. You'll prove to employers that you are the best candidate for the job, having the skills needed to protect their organization from cyber attacks and threats. We want to make it as easy as possible for you to get from point A to point B in your cybersecurity career. You've asked for an easier way to map it out, and in this video, we've simplified that process for you. Follow this pathway and we'll guide you through the real skills and knowledge you need to get the job done, get promoted, and make a difference in the cybersecurity landscape. Not to mention, you'll also make some good money along the way. Here we go. Get your foot in the door with CompTIA Security Plus, the first step on your cybersecurity career path. Security Plus is the leading global certification that proves you have the core security skills to do the job. Things like monitoring and securing hybrid environments, or identifying, analyzing, and responding to security events. These hands-on skills will open the door to more opportunities. As you move from IT support into cybersecurity, you should have 2 years of experience under your belt. In an entry-level cybersecurity role, you can earn anywhere from $85,000 to $95,000 a year. More than 600,000 IT pros have earned Security Plus, having learned how to problem-solve a wider variety of today's complex security issues. Your cybersecurity career begins with Security Plus. To move up to the next level in cybersecurity, your next step will be to become proficient in more specialized skills. Learn through CompTIA's Pentest Plus or CISA Plus certifications. At this level, you should have at least 4 years of experience. According to CyberSeek, intermediate level positions can range from $91,000 to $104,000 a year. CompTIA Pentest Plus is ideal for cybersecurity professionals responsible for testing networks to make sure they're secure. Pentest Plus will give you all the hands-on skills required for vulnerability and penetration testing. You'll have the required skills to customize assessments, report findings, and recommend mitigation strategies. Pentest Plus will help you stay one step ahead of the bad actors. Next up, the CompTIA Cybersecurity Analyst, or CISA Plus certification, will teach you how to enable continuous security monitoring and how to respond to incidents. CISA Plus is the only certification on the market that will give you the hands-on skills necessary to leverage threat detection techniques and to identify vulnerabilities. CISA Plus will help take your threat hunting skills to the next level. Finally, as you move up to the advanced cybersecurity level, you have CAS Plus. This is equivalent to at least 5 to 10 years of general hands-on IT experience. Advanced level salaries can range from $99,000 to $131,000 a year. CompTIA Advanced Security Practitioner, or CAS Plus, is for IT pros with advanced knowledge, but who wish to keep working on the technical side of cybersecurity. Unlike other certifications, CAS Plus covers both security architecture and engineering. This means that you will have the skills to assess enterprise cyber readiness and design and implement the proper solutions for your organization, such as Zero Trust. Lead and improve the overall cybersecurity resiliency against the next attack with CAS Plus. All 4 cybersecurity certifications fulfill Department of Defense 8140-8570 compliance, which maps directly to the standards that ensure all military departments and defense agency jobs can effectively identify and stop cyber attacks. CompTIA holds one of the strongest positions in the foundational IT and security markets, which helps you learn the specific cybersecurity skills necessary to take you from beginning to end. Study with the official CompTIA content. Now that you know the steps you need to take to move up the ranks through cybersecurity, head over to comptia.org/cybersecurity to learn more and upskill your cyber skills.
All right, good evening once again, everyone. You can just indicate one more time if my audio is perfect.
Good evening.
Okay,
Hearing
great.
you loud and clear.
All right, great. All right, so without any further ado, I guess as the others join in, then of course we'll go ahead and admit them to the meeting and so on. All right, so let's get started. All right, so good evening again, ladies and gentlemen. So on behalf of the management of Vector Technology Institute, management and staff of Vector Technology Institute with the extension of the faculty, it is my pleasure to warmly welcome you to our online information session, which is basically focused on micro-credentialing and our professional certifications, right? So whether you are a prospective student and an IT professional seeking career advancement, or a recent graduate, high school graduate that is, or someone exploring opportunities in the technology field, we sincerely thank you for joining us this evening. So technology is evolving at an unprecedented pace, which most of us inside here should be aware by now, unless we're living under a rock, right? And today's employers are increasingly seeking professionals who possesses rather the practical skills that can be applied immediately in the workplace, and emphasis on immediately, right? So professional certifications and micro-credentials have become a powerful tool for demonstrating those skills. And it goes further to enhance employability and accelerating your growth career-wise. So tonight's featured focus really and truly is going to be on ethical hacking and cybersecurity. So when we talk about micro-credentials or any sort of professional certifications, we're going to be focusing on those along that line. So with that area being one of the fastest growing and most in-demand fields within the global technology space, right? So over the next hour, we have 2 presenters that will provide you with valuable insights into how internationally recognized certifications can equip you with the knowledge and practical experience and confidence needed to succeed in today's digital economy. Right? So just a little precursor as to why these things I'm going to be all right. So no need to request the recording. What I'm going to do is I'm going to share the recording after with all of whom have been registered, right? After we have closed out and the recording has been processed. So along with a follow-up thank you, you'll get the link to the recording. All right. So that will be made available to you. All right. So For those who are joining us for the first time, Vector Technology Institute is committed to transforming education into careers. That is actually our motto. So by delivering practical, flexible, and industry-focused programs that combine with higher education. And higher education in this respect, we're talking about like the academic programs, the diplomas, the associate degree, the bachelor's degree, right? And what we do to live up to that mantra is the infusion of the globally recognized professional certifications at the different levels of the academic program to put you as competitive persons within the workspace. So our mission is really simple enough, and it can just be summed up in one statement: to really empower learners with the knowledge, skills, and credentials required to thrive in today's technology-driven world, right? So that is, in essence, the background against which we constantly have these information sessions and boasting the importance of the professional certifications. Now, we have two presenters that are going to really take us on that journey this evening. And as I said, we're just expecting to be here for an hour. My name is Andre Powell, by the way, and I'm going to be your moderator for this evening, right? So how we're going to proceed, we're going to allow the presenters to make their presentation. And what I'll ask you guys to do is that any questions that you have, you could just make a note of it, because we're going to open up at the end of the presentation a question and answer session that you can pose your question to the respective speakers and allow them to address the concerns or any questions that you have based on the information that has been presented, right? So far, let me just acknowledge our executive director, Mrs. Karen Mar Bruce. One of our presenters this evening as well, Mr. Lloyd Brown, right? And of course, I'm seeing Miss Edwards, Tony Edwards, who is a member of the administrative team that is sitting in with us this evening. I'm not seeing the other presenters yet. Spoke to him a little bit earlier, and he assured me that he would be on time. So let us see what will happen. Funny enough, Mr. Brown is the first presenter for this evening. But I'd have to have sincere respect for your all time, because you made the time out of your busy schedule to be here. So it only makes sense that I try to be on time with what we have here. So just to introduce Mr. Brown, right? And I noticed I'm identifying some names in the group, some of whom seem to be current and past students. And I would like to just acknowledge every one of you guys and thank you for coming out, right? So Mr. Brown. So Mr. Lloyd Brown holds a Bachelor of Engineering from the University of Technology, Jamaica, and has held certifications such as your CompTIA A+, Network Plus, Linux Plus, CCNA, Security Plus, the Cisco Cyber Ops, as well as the CompTIA CYSA Plus. So he holds an international diploma in teaching and training. So a part of his professional experience, he worked in the telecommunications field with the then Jamaica telephone company, JTC. Right, Mr. Brown served in several capacities, including training officer and manager of technical training for all the 14 territories in which Line operated. So the Jamaica telephone company evolved over the years to become Line, right? So Mr. Brown is currently the managing director of JBL Telecommunications and Information Technology Institute, right? A company that offers consulting and training services in the areas of telecommunications and information technology, Mr. Brown has been with Vector since 2008. And just to let you know, he's passionate about preparing individuals for success in today's rapidly changing digital workspace. So through his work in technology and education, he has helped many learners understand the importance of continuous professional development and industry-recognized certification. So this evening, Mr. Brown will be presenting on the whole idea of micro-credentialing and professional certifications and why these are so important to IT practitioners, right, so to speak. So without any reservation, I present to you Mr. Brown, Mr. Lloyd Brown.
Thank you, Andre. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, perfect.
Yes, you're seeing it, sir.
Okay, great. Thanks. Evening, everyone. And as Andrea said, welcome and thank you for making it. So today I will be speaking on micro-credentials. I've taken a view of micro-credentials that goes beyond IT. So a more general view, and then I'll bring it into the information technology arena. I will also, when I speak of micro-credential, I will look at not just the event or the intervention that you may participate in, but speak also to what you will need to do to make this a benefit for you or to improve the benefit that it will be able to provide to you. So what exactly is a micro-credential? And at the very core, it is really someone earning proof that they have skills that can be of use. Right? The very core of it is that, just earning proof of some skill that can be of use. Now, in order to talk deeply about this micro-credential, I would want to have you think about a question, right? So think about you and your career and ask the question, what is my next step? And as you think about that, it might be that you're thinking about getting started in an internship or a job. Or maybe you're thinking about switching careers, or if you are enrolled in some academic program, you're thinking about switching majors. Or you just want to build confidence in a skill. You already have this skill, but you're not so confident in what you can do, and you want to build that confidence. It could also be that you have gone through some program, you have earned the certificate from it, you have gotten the grades, but you want to be able to show something beyond that. And these are things that micro-credentials can assist you with. So, micro-credentials are short programs that give you verified proof that you have some specific set of demonstrable skills that was achieved through some clear outcomes and assessments. Meaning really you have participated in a program. It's not a long thing. And this program taught you to be able to do something, which would be your demonstrable skills. And of course, in order to provide that confidence that you can do it, there's a set of outcomes that the program says you will be able to do at the end. And there are some designed assessments that, having completed those assessments, it indicates that you can do these skills. Of course, micro-credentials are not just a certificate. It goes beyond a certificate. It needs to be able to show proof that you can demonstrate these skills that you have achieved. It is not a degree. A degree is a much longer program, so it's a shorter thing. And it ought not to be vague in how it states what you can do. There should be clear wording as to what you can do. Now, why do they matter? Why would we want to have micro-credentials? Because these micro-credentials will help us to more clearly explain what we can do, the skills we have. So when you talk about yourself having gone through a micro-credential program, you will say not just I took this course, but you will state what are the things that you can do, what skills you have having gone through that course. It helps you to build a portfolio, a listing of your skills over a period of time that will help employers to be able to understand quickly what is it you can do, what is it you offer to them. And while we mention here about employers, there is also the case where you may be thinking about going into business for yourself. And so the micro-credentials will then help you to be able to demonstrate to your clients, your customers, what skills you have and how those skills can benefit them. Of course, as we mentioned, it's often shorter and it helps to build these skills faster. Micro-credentials will help you in terms of internships. So if you're in an internship program, and at the end of that, aside from just participating in the internship, you want to be able to show what is it you can do. You could participate in a micro-credential course, a short course, that will also impact the skills that the internship is looking at. And later, I will talk about having participated in an internship program, how you can also turn that particular internship into a micro-credential activity. You may also be working part-time, and so you are in some other activity. Maybe you're attending school and you're working part-time. And in that part-time job, you want to be able to demonstrate to your employer that here are some new skills that I have. And these skills can assist with the business and also help to get you promoted. Micro-credentials will be able to help you there. And similarly, if you're looking to switch careers. So where you can use these micro-credentials, you could have it on your resume. And so when you write your resume, you wouldn't just say, I took this course or I attended this course, but you would indicate the actual learning outcomes, the skills that this course would have provided you. You could use it on LinkedIn or wherever you have your professional profile listed. And as mentioned before, internship and in job applications, you are able to state more clearly what is it you can offer to an organization. And of course, networking. And networking here meaning you attend events and you're speaking to persons. And when you do so, you can share proof, shareable evidence of what you can do. And having completed several micro-credential courses, you have created a stack, a list of courses and a list of skills that build upon each other to show your growth over a period of time. Of course, there is there are many places that may be offering short courses, but you want to be able to make sure that the ones you participate in are the ones that get you the best result. And so you would want to have some kind of credibility checklist in checking these courses or short courses that you're participating in to see if they would offer you the benefit that micro-credential courses would or should offer. So these activities, you want to make sure they have clear learning outcomes. They state clearly what is it at the end you would be able to achieve. There are assessments that are done, things that would be able to test you to see if you are actually learning and if you are actually building the skills. So it's not just a matter of attending and then at the end, that's it. There should be clear rubrics, meaning you should know beforehand what is it you are being tested on and how. So you are able to best prepare and best build yourself to be ready for those assessments. At the end, you want to be able to have some evidence beyond the certificate that you may get. So as you participate in these courses, or before you participate, you may want to ask the question, what is it we will do in these courses? Am I going to be getting some exercise that I may be able to take samples of and would be able to take these to an employer to say, here are some activities that I have completed. Are there projects? And how do you gain access to the results of those, so that you will have them to share? And the last one here, a way to verify your credentials. And here, what we're thinking of is when you achieve these certificates or certifications, you want to have something that you can share a link, and on that link, it provides a view of what you have achieved. So, in short, what is involved in gaining a micro-credential? You're going to be involved in a short learning module. You would have in that learning module some practice tasks, and these are going to generate evidence of your skill. And then there will be a final assessment. And after that, you would now have proof of your achievement, some credential that you can publish somewhere on your LinkedIn page, your Instagram profile, but you have these proof that you can use to show. Now, micro-credentials can be project-based, so you may be building something, you may be creating a case report around some activity or some series of tasks. It could be performance-based or demonstration, where you're asked to demonstrate a skill or demonstrate how a process works. It could be assessment-based, where you are going to be involved in sitting a series of exams. And then it could be around a learning path. And this is the last one here is the one we're going to be looking at in greater detail today, in particular when the second speaker comes on. Right? So in this set of learning path, you're covering a set of courses, and these will allow you to earn multiple badges. These badges are going to be individual certificates that will build together to form the larger certificate or diploma that you get at the end. And bear in mind, even though I'm saying diploma, we are not talking about something that is going over a year. We're talking about things that are shorter, maybe a month, 2 months. It could be even a week, right? But within those realm. So in the when we think about micro-credentials, Cisco certifications fall, and certifications in general fall in that realm. And while this slide here came directly from Cisco and is speaking about Cisco certification, but the statistics is very telling about not just Cisco certifications, but certifications in general. And as we see on the right side here, it says 99% of organizations that were surveyed use technical certifications to make hiring decisions. And we can see these certifications in the broader view of micro-credentials. And this is saying 99% of organizations use these as a way of making hiring decisions. 91% of employers believe IT certifications are a reliable predictor of a successful employee. The only way employers would be able to say this is only if the certification is targeting the actual skills that one would need when they are in an organization working. 81% of employers associate IT certification holders with increased quality and value of work contribution. So, state this another way. The employers are saying persons who have achieved IT certification will, 81 out of 100 of those will show quality of work that is what the employers are looking for. So, as a way of kind of putting the icing on the cake with these micro-credentials, I looked at how are they designed, and this will kind of help us to understand why micro-credentials are so sought after in the industry. And in designing these micro-credentials, what the organizations do is they start at the outcome. So they start at the inner part of the circle here, and they ask, what is it employers are looking for? What are the skills employers want? And that is what would be now classified as the outcome. So the micro-credential should, at the end, produce persons who can do these things that the organizations or the hiring managers are looking for. Then the next step is, if we are going to be building a micro-credential that has these outcomes, what are the assessment methods and tools that should be used so that if someone is successful on the assessment, it means that they will be able to demonstrate these outcomes. So we need assessment that provide evidence of these outcomes. And the last one, having completed these assessments, then at the end, the participants should get some proof, which would be their certificate or the ability to be able to display their achievement on some social networking site or wherever they have their profile listed. So we need shareable credentials. Now, the next thing you would want to be thinking about, having gone through and getting a clear view as to what exactly are micro-credentials, the next thing you'd want to be thinking about now is, there are going to be many. Now, which one is right for you? Now, In order to answer that question, you may be thinking, what job or internship do you want? So which job role are you looking to go into? Or what internship program do you want to enter into? Then you'd ask the question, that particular job role that I'm looking at, what are the skills that that job role require? And then if I can answer that, my next question or your next question would be, which micro-credential assess those skills? And then you will now want to ask this about the micro-credential. Having completed it, will I be able to show evidence? In other words, the activities that I have participated in that micro-credential program, will I be able to show evidence of that? Could I use that to build a portfolio so that when I apply for a job role, I can use that portfolio to say, here are the things that I have done, and here are the skills that I have. And then you will also want to know, for this particular micro-credential you're looking at, is the difficulty level a good fit for you? Because it might be things that the skills you have are surpassing that. So you want to be able to find something that will help you grow. Now, there are always going to be programs that are not good fit. These will have a certain set of indicators in them, which I have labeled here as red flags. So if you find a program that have outcomes that are too general, it just says gain knowledge of so and so, but it doesn't state specific skills that you would be building, then that is a red flag. That is something that you would want to not have in the micro-credential program that you are participating in. Assessments that's only completed. So you go through assessment, but you don't have the ability to pull these out, or any project that you've done in the course to be able to say, here is an example of a project that I have done to show to a prospective employer. The grading mechanism is not clear. And the certificate you have, you don't have a way of easily sharing that as a proof of what you've done. And then the topics, there are so many topics, and there's no clear focus on a specific set of skills. Now, having completed, so you have found the right one, you've participated in it, how can you maximize the value of this micro-credential or certification program that you have participated in? So you want to treat this micro-credential program like a project, like a real project. When we say treat it like a real project, I have heard many times persons say, I am doing this course, but the learning is really going to take place when I get a job. This course is just for me to get a passing score. So I have to SWOT, I just memorize. And by doing that, I will get a passing score. And then I can get a job and I will learn when I get the job. That is not treating your micro-credential like a real project. In a real project, you cannot complete it unless you have actually learned. So you want to, in this micro-credential or certification program, you make sure you are learning. You take the steps to ensure that when you have an activity and the activity as an assessment, the assessment, you can complete that assessment with confidence. And when you get a score, you feel comfortable that you were able to achieve that score because you understood the content. Next, you are going to build a portfolio. So you will document what you are learning and have that written out. And, so persons who do painting and artwork, they usually have a package of the set of drawings that they have done or photographs that they have taken, and they can show that at any time to someone. That's what you want to do when you participate in a micro-credential. So aside from what you're doing in the course, you are building a portfolio outside of the course using the knowledge and the skills and the activities that are in that course. You want to be able to have some artifacts, which are the things that you are pulling out of the course. And these are the things that you're going to be putting in the portfolio. So ask, what artifact will I be assessed on? Use feedback loops. Revise before final submission. So final submission here is looking at you going through some kind of assessment and you're going to come to the end. So you want to revise what you have done and make sure you are comfortable before you get to that final stage. Document your process, keep screenshots. And if you are in the process of, let's say, maybe doing software, then you want to have your commits, where commit as in where you have built out the software, you have committed it, you can have it run, see if it works. And you keep drafts as well to show the changes, how your progress has been going or went through the course. Now, the micro-credential or certifications will provide academic and personal benefit. If you follow the steps from that previous slide, you will be able to build study habits. So you would have practice as you are going through that study habit, and you would then have your evidence from your portfolio. It does make networking easier. When you are at events, you can always say, here is what I have done. Here is what I can do. You can show evidence of it. You can show a network that you have built. You can show a program you have written. You can show a report that you have written. But you have evidence of things you have done. It helps you discover your strengths and your gaps. So as you are going through these things, at some point, you will see things that you're really good at, and you will see others that you have to work a little harder on. It allows you to be able to have discussions about your career in a more confident way. And it, of course, helps you stand out among your peers. So, coming to the end, you want to build a micro-plan. So you are going to be thinking about, where is it I want to go? And you are going to be looking at the micro-credentials that will be able to take you there. And that's your micro-plan. Right? Pick one skill you want to improve. So you start with one. Find one micro-credential that assesses it. Define your target evidence. So how are you going to build a portfolio? You're going to do it as a project, you're going to do it as a demo, you're going to do it as a report, and you want to set timelines. Right? You need to be able to say, I will complete this in 5 weeks, 10 weeks, 2 months, whatever the period. So example of things that you'd want to have in your portfolio: screenshots. If it's a network you're building, So you'd have screenshots as you're building it, and then you have the final network. If it's a piece of software you're building, again, you have screenshots as you're working through, and then you have your final set of code that has your working software. You want to have a short write-up of what I did, why it matters. You want to show how your work was assessed. So you have the rubric that shows how the work was assessed. And you could have a video, it's optional, but you could have videos. If it's a network, you show video showing the network working. If it's a piece of software, you show a video of the software performing the task it should be able to do. And then you want to have at the end some reflection, some where you think back and you're able to document what improvement have you seen in your skill and what would you like to do next? So how will you know if having participated in the microcredential is a success? You should be able to explain the work you did in 60 seconds. So that shows that you have a clear understanding of what you were able to accomplish. You can show evidence. You have links, you have files, you have artifacts showing what you did. If you are able to recognize that you perform better in interviews, having gone through these micro-credentials, or you are getting better referrals. If it's a case where you are running your own business and now you find more persons coming in and they said, you know, Miss Harris told me about you. She said you did a good job. You know, so you're getting more referrals. The type of work you're getting better fit the skill set you have. And you generally feel more confident about your skill. These are things that would indicate that the micro-credential program was a success. So the last thing I want to leave you with is, what skill do you want to get verified next? And our next presenter will be talking about the Cisco Ethical Hacker course. That might just be the next skill you want to get yourself verified and be able to demonstrate these skills. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brown. As usual, your contribution to any of these conference or seminar type of event is usually very sound and plants a very firm foundation on which to build the progressive speakers that comes afterwards, right? So thank you very much, Mr. Brown, and most definitely a detailed insight as to what micro-credentials are. So our next speaker, again, we're just going to continue in. So our next speaker is Mr. Grahame Borland, right? He's a lecturer with us just the same. These two persons between Mr. Borland and Mr. Brown are two of our cybersecurity proponents and form part of the curriculum development along that line, right? The curriculum development committee along that line. So, so to speak to Mr. Borland now, so he's a network and security technologist by profession with over a decade of experience in computing. So more than 5 years experience devoted to security appreciation. So having worked in both private and public sectors in the industries such as accounting, manufacturing, surveillance. So he has a proven track record of implementing network solutions that stand the test of time. Now, with that said, Mr. Borland specializes in cybersecurity education and has extensive knowledge of ethical hacking principles and cybersecurity best practices. So his focus is going to be just like what Mr. Brown said previously, the Cisco Ethical Hacker and the cybersecurity career pathway that one can look into. So again, help me welcome Mr. Grahame Borland.
All right, thank you, Mr. Paul, and good evening, everyone. So let me just get this slide up for you all, and we can begin.
As Mr. Borland is getting ready, as I mentioned earlier, just please make note of your questions and we will go straight into them after his presentation. So questions can be thrown at both presenters. Okay, over to you now, Mr. Borland.
All right, Mr. Paul, no problem. So, before we head into the Cisco Ethical Hacker, just do a little brief intro, just to give you a kind of understanding of the cybersecurity frontier that we're working with, right? So let's begin. So what we're looking at here is the unfulfilled jobs, right, in the cybersecurity sphere. So we're looking at 4 million jobs unfulfilled, and these are not just in Jamaica, these are globally, right? So what we're looking at is 72% in data breach increases in 2021 to 23. And bearing in mind that that would have been an exponential increase as we got closer to our current year of 26, right? The average data breach is going to be about 4.88 million. And that was again in 2023. And this is quoted in USD, right? So you have, or you can see where it says that we have a projected growth for pen testers of 33%. With quantum computing, as well as some other very interesting developments using artificial intelligence in the cybersecurity sphere, it actually moved past 33%, and I think it's actually getting closer to the 40% mark. Now, we're looking at the strategic talent node. This is basically looking at us in the Jamaican sphere. I trended or tailored this to deal with remote work for us as individuals, because as cybersecurity enthusiasts, as I'm expecting us all to become, we don't need to be in an office. So we need to change that paradigm, right? Currently, we are closest to the United States, and we actually fit in perfectly to their Eastern Standard Time zone, right? So we're able to collaborate with most of their security operation centers, right? Bearing in mind that the US does business, well, not just the US, but we all do business globally. But the US does is where most of our trading gonna come through. And we have to be able to match back with their time zone, right? Now, where we are puts us very uniquely at a spot, sorry, that allows us to capitalize on that deficit of cybersecurity professionals. So, skills first hiring. Mr. Brown alluded to this earlier. Having a microcerts, very important, right? So the old model of hiring persons is basically vetting the person's intellect or their knowledge base on a degree. But a associate's, bachelor's, master's, doctorate, fine. We do understand that terminal degrees are still going to hold some sway, but in a field where we are now becoming progressively more practical, these certifications that we're looking at are going to be more important. Mr. Brown also alluded to the fact that we are going to have what we call stackable certs. because persons may or may not want to do all of the knowledge base, or they might want to pick, choose, and refuse what it is that they want to specialize in. So you're able to pick, for example, networking with a little bit of cloud, a little bit of server, and you're able to basically design your own certification, because what you're doing is you're pulling from some entry level and basic certs to then give yourself another certification, or in some cases, give yourself a whole brand new title. So this is how we get to the new model where you're verifying your capability. And it gets to the point now where it has trickled down to Jamaica, where we have 98%. Well, in global standpoint, you have 98% of employers now utilizing skill first, hiring for entry-level roles. So no longer do you need to go and spend 4 years trying to battle getting a degree. In our case in Jamaica, hunting down student loan or guarantors, or accepting grants that are going to tie you to a particular institution or even local government for years. A lot of these certs that we are offering cost less than a lot of the phones that we walk up and down in our pockets with. And that's just the truth of the matter. Now, organizations require entry-level personnel to act as agent bosses who direct AI defensive tools. So, in cybersecurity, gone are the days where you'd be sitting down and log monitoring and, for lack of better, it's patrolling the network perimeter. Nowadays, we have next-gen AI, and what you're doing, you need to understand the concepts that are out there. You also need to be able to utilize the tools that are there, not just the older tools that you'd be able to find in, for example, Kali or Black Arch, but you also need to be able to incorporate the next-gen AI into your arsenal. So looking at this, you have the operational loop, you have defensive versus offensive security. You have your blue team and you have your red team. So your blue team is going to be a SOC analyst, which is basically research and defending. So monitoring, detecting, triaging, and responding, right? You have to be able to develop what or detect what is normalized telemetry. You have to know what is going to signify an attack. You need to know what is your baseline. You need to be able to express these things in technical and non-technical terms. You have to collaborate with other industry players. You also have a red team. You have discover, exploit, report, and mitigate. Your red team is going to go out there. And this is where we should be focusing on or for our presentation this evening. Because this is where you find the ethical hackers and your pen testers, right? So you're proactively testing systems. You're going out there. And of course, if we're going to be ethical hackers, we must have permission to do this, right? We don't just go out there with the skill set that we have, kicking in doors or kicking virtual doors, knocking in places and looking in crevices where we have no business being without permission, right? And what we're doing is that when we're testing these systems, we're trying to figure out where the vulnerabilities are, what it is that we're going to use to exploit these vulnerabilities, right? And we're doing so before we have malicious or threat actors to do so. Now, the perfect balance between this, because as you see, you have your blue team and your red team. The perfect balance is purple team, which does both. You're going to both respond and monitor and detect, but you're also going to be out there in some cases doing reporting, mitigation, discovery. So your purple team is going to be coming in more like your strike team, right? So we need to look at the architecture of the Cisco Ethical Hacking course. So we have it in roughly 3 phases. So you have your foundation or prerequisites. Now, as it is, because it's a cert, there is no strict requirement, no degree requirement. The recommended baseline is completing cybersecurity essentials, having some analyst or analytical basis. If you do have some subject area in an analytical mindset or in a science subject, it's very, very it's helpful to you. We also require that you have networking fundamentals, a little bit of Linux, and some basic programming. The reason being, for networking, you are going to be running up and down networks, understanding the concepts behind it. Simple, basic things such as the IP networking, version 4 and 6, being able to read packet headers, understanding the OSI model, just to get into a little bit of it. Your Linux programming is going to be ideal. You would have heard me mention Kali, which if you're looking at phase 3, which is a toolkit, that logo in the top left corner is going to be our Kali Linux logo, right? Um, a lot of our tools can be found open source. And open source, if you don't know what it is, I'll just mention that it is just out there, free for anybody to access. You're not paying for it, right? Now, a lot of people say, oh, it's free, so is it any good? Well, considering the fact that as a security practitioner, and this is not just ethical hacking, but just security practitioner on a whole, you are becoming a part of a larger fraternity of international personnel, right? And if you're getting into the Linux environment specifically, you will slowly become understanding what it's gonna be like, where you can pose a question and some random person halfway around the world will tell you, say, oh, I had that same problem and I fixed it this way. And of course, the basic programming is going to help you with your analysis. At some point, you're going to end up getting some intermediate programming, and that will assist you if you're going to look at doing black boxing or reverse engineering, right? So that was just the foundation for getting into ethical hacking, right? So we head on to phase 2, which is the curriculum. Now, it's 70 hours. Now, this 70 hours is just 70 hours required for the classroom component. Now, I won't I won't sugarcoat it for you, right? I'll be very open and honest. If you do head on to the Cisco website, you will see that the course can be done by yourself. Now, I've had a reason for somebody to ask me, so since I can do ethical hacker on Cisco's platform by myself, why should I come to Vector? What is the selling point? Simple. You are not paying for the course. What you're paying for, or what you're doing when you come to Vector, is that you're building connections, right? Nobody in security works on their own. Outside of that, you're also getting the experience of your lecturers, persons who have had, again, time in the field. And in so doing, we would have also created our own network linkages. So, for example, I've had persons both from either sides of our law enforcement ask me for students who I can recommend that they can. I don't want to say poach, but they'd rather come to them before they finish the course, do a little impromptu test with them, and know that, all right, at the end of this particular course, if I'm doing a course of 13 students, they'll say that, okay, we'll take half of them. If they're doing a course of more than that, they'll take more because the promise is there of properly trained individuals. So this phase in the curriculum, you get the interactive gamified environment. You have slides, you have videos, you have labs, right? You will figure out the role of being a junior pen tester, utilizing real world scenarios. You'll get the virtual environment, so we'll be using things like VirtualBox if you so desire. You can use VMware, you can use Hyper-V, any of these things, because in practice, you need to have the understanding, the feel of breaking a system. It's all well and good to sit down and look in a book and say, yes, I can do this, or, I think I can do that, or I can follow the theoretical steps. But what do you do when you are half asleep and you're getting a phone call that your network has been penetrated. You're seeing exfiltration of information. There's a rootkit that is denying everybody admin access. And while the data is being exfiltrated, whatever has already been exfiltrated is already being encrypted. Not all threats can be stopped by simply cutting the power or cutting the connection to the network. Sometimes you need to understand that segmentation, which is basically moving pieces of the network away from others, might just be what you need. You can't necessarily eliminate the loss, but you can mitigate the risk. And these are techniques that you learn during the course of during this course. You'll also learn how to do the pen testing, of course, like I said, breaking the systems. And this is where phase 3 comes in for the toolkit, right? So you'll get the proficiencies in Kali. Now, you can spend years with Kali and you will never be completely mastered in Kali or any form of Linux. There are always new threats, there are always new tools that you'll have to master. What you can do is become competent enough while you might be able to keep using some of these older tools because they're what you're comfortable with. You have to know, or you have to be able to adapt because nobody's going to wait. What we learn now in tech is going to be obsolete in a few months, if that long. And I'm using a few months as being very generous. Python and Bash scripting for automation. Again, nobody's sitting down and watching a log and sitting down waiting for an alert to come up and say that you've been infiltrated. Certain mitigation and strategies, you can have those automated. You're going to want to have audits done on your system, set your baselines, right? You can set up your files for that. So Python, a very nice, robust language, very easy to learn. One of those that is pretty much structured like English, right? Bash scripting, your scripting language one of the many scripting languages that you're going to be using in Linux. You could also learn about shell scripting or batch files for Windows. It's highly unlikely. You learn it just because we expose you to both sides of it, but in the security world, it's unlikely that you're going to be using Windows because, to be very fair, it doesn't lend itself as neatly as Linux does. And of course, you will learn about the OSINT frameworks. And for those that are not au fait with it, OSINT is just open source intelligence, meaning that you're not paying for this. It is pretty much information that has been gathered and provided freely for the different practitioners to utilize. You do have something that is called closing, which is closed source intelligence. So you have Cisco who does their own paid access. Juniper does theirs as well, so does Fortinet. So these are things that you would also learn about when we've introduced it to OSINT because you need to also know what else is out there. So moving on to that, proving your capability. Now, having your certs, Mr. Brown alluded to that as well. The certs will show that you know what you know. You've passed an exam. That's great. The ethical hacking course is going to be leaps and bounds above most of the other certifications that you've done, mostly because it has a lot of practical labs in there that have to be completed. It's great for you to read the notes, but for you to truly understand, you have to complete these labs. But let's say that you've completed the labs and you still feel like you're lacking in a little bit. Well, you have what we call a CTF or capture the flag. Now, when you finish the ethical hacking course, you get to unlock the CTF simulation, right? You get to engage in an 11-step sequential challenge that does recon to root processes, decoding server heists, and exploiting insecure web apps in a sandbox environment. So again, the sandbox environment is necessary because we don't want it to be breaking your system or anybody else's while you're practicing these things. One of the things that we will touch on in this course is that The knowledge that you learn here must always be used responsibly because your certifications, even if you pay for them, using them in contravention of any laws can be grounds for your revocation of your certifications, right? And of course, after you've passed the CTF, there's the verification. So you get your digital badge proving your practical proficiency directly to your employers. So nobody will have to ask you, are you sure you know what you're doing? Have you ever done this before? No, because when you get your digital badge, that's Cisco stating that, yes, for example, Andre Nelson has passed this or Alicia Blake has passed this course and they've done this. They know exactly what they're doing. Just like how most persons don't even understand the explicit trust that is coming from certain vendors. So for example, that trust architecture that is implemented when you sign in with Google, when you use your Google email to sign into any website, they just pull that information and they don't ask any questions. The reason being, the website that you're trusting Google with when you do your sign in, that website is also saying, all right, Google is this big company. They must have vetted all of their personnel. So therefore, I can take whatever this person has put in and run with it as fact. The same thing with Cisco. When you certify, or any certifying body, I should say, that once you've passed the certifications, that states that you know what you know, you've covered the curriculum satisfactorily, and they've awarded you certification. So you have your credential utility matrix. This is the return on investment of verification, right? So with the Cisco Certified Ethical Hacker, you get a 70-hour course plus a CTF. You get the free course plus the $100 CTF. Now, the CTF, this is going to be outside of any of the competitions that they have, right? You can actually enter there's sometimes that you have to pay to enter some of the CTS because there are prizes involved. Prizes can range from cash to other certifications. In some cases, the prize actually requires you to travel, so they'll cover that as well. All right, you get lifetime validity of your certification and access to the Cisco University Sandbox. Um, you would have had the previous CEH, which is 4-hour MCQ and a 6-hour practical. You would continuously do different packages, and it's a 3-year validity, right? Now, you realize it says CE required as continuing education. So it means that every 3 years, you either have to retake that exam or you would have to do continuing educational units, which is where you would sit down through some seminars that Cisco puts on. And it's not every seminar that allows you to generate the educational units that you need to keep so that you would keep your certification current, right? And of course, you have your CCSC, your cybersecurity. That's your Cisco Certified Security Technician. 50-minute exam costs you $125. And it's a 5-year validity and that's post July 2025. And of course, you have proctor testing. So we're looking at the technical arsenal here and the verified competencies, right? So this slide shows you the various competencies that you're going to develop during this course. So not so much with cryptography, which is going to be your encryption, breaking it, etc. You get more of your scripting using OSINT tools, exploitation development, and of course, if you're going to do development, you must have reconnaissance, vulnerability assessment, and you have network scanning. So we know that this reconnaissance is going to be discovering the misconfigurations, and structural doesn't just mean physical, but it's also just how you have decided to set up your network. So it could be the improper implementation of a firewall. You could have set up one of your most vulnerable systems outside of the protection of a firewall. Or you may have improperly configured a DMZ which allows network connections from outside of your firewall to directly bypass the DMZ, or it allows for content to originate from the DMZ and attack your internal network, and that should never happen, right? Payload and exploitation. So you get to simulate real-world attacks. You learn offensive methodologies. Mr. Powell, in between transitioning myself and Mr. Brown, you'd have seen the threat map that was live. That threat map, if I'm not mistaken, looks like the one from let me double check and tell you. Or if Mr. Powell can chime in quickly and let me know, it looks like the one that would have been from either threat map or the Kaspersky cyber map. Either
The first one, the one that I was showing, which had the pink and gray look, that is from the checkpoint, the cyber threat map.
all right.
The one with the glow, with the globe spinning with the signal.
It's a Kaspersky.
Kaspersky, yeah.
All right. So the cyber threat map, the live cyber threat maps that you're seeing, whether it's a Kaspersky one you're looking at, or if you're looking at the one from Kaspersky, what you're seeing is this is not simulated attacks. These are live attacks. These are going on right now. So with the Kaspersky map, what you'll see is that we're number 167 out of the most attacked country. So we might not hear about them until late or until our website goes down. But I do know of another institution currently facing a problem where they've pretty much been locked out because of misconfigurations, having persons with they were utilizing a free web development, WordPress, and it seems that nobody was covering the bases with the vulnerabilities for WordPress, and now they've been exposed. That cyber threat map shows you the different attacks going on. So you learn about state-sponsored attacks. Currently Jamaica is not a big player as a country, and put it that way. We do have some very talented ethical hackers. We've also had a lot of talented black, white, and gray hat hackers that have been developed at home, both in traditional and non-traditional senses, right? So we do what you're seeing on that threat map is actual live, I want to say live ammunition or live warfare on the cyber landscape. We also have, so outside of that payload and exploitation, which you're going to end up being a part of once you've joined us here, whether it is that you're going to do the cyber security essentials first and then into the ethical hacking, you're going to be a part of that payload. You'll realize how quickly your viewpoint changes, how you no longer want to use your information out there, but you realize that there are certain things that you have to give and take, right? And then you also have the last part, which is reporting and mitigation. So you have to translate technical vulnerabilities into actionable business risk narratives, right? So this is where we're long past your password too short or your password too long, or you can't reuse your password. This is where we're getting to, we no longer use passwords but passphrases. We're heading into multi-factor authentication. And it's not just using the Google Authenticator app, because that is also, while it is widely used, it's not one of the more prevalent ones, or the more secure ones, I should say. It is more prevalent, but not as secure as some other authenticators, right? You're also going to look at trying to figure out how to implement biometrics into your system. But again, using biometrics as an authentication is just one standpoint. But when you have to figure out how do you store this biometric information so that the security or the additional security option you're putting in place does not now become compromised, right? Those are things that you have to look at. With your actionable business risk, you have to know how to do risk mitigation, risk avoidance as two parts of risk management. So let's look at the career architecture. to get us out of our entry level as a junior analyst or security technician and get us up to leadership, right? So we start off as our cybersecurity technician or technologist or junior analyst, and that's your baseline. Now, they are both at the same level in terms of with 1 to 3 years of experience, but we're gonna push and look at more of the ethical hacker. So you get to that offensive aspect within 1 to 3 years. So your foundation, after you've gotten your cert, you take the first year to learn systems. Basically, cut your teeth and see what it's like working in real world environments, responding to incidents, generating reports, and figuring out whether you're going to go red team or blue team. Red team, you're doing the pen testing, you're going to be out there exposing yourself. Now, be very wary of this. If you're going to be a pen tester, you need to understand that what you do outside of the confines of your home network should never ever be brought home. You never connect the machine that you're going to be utilizing in these pen tests to your home network. And if you can avoid it, don't ever bring it anywhere near a location that you consider, I won't even say safe, but consider it as home. So family, friends, um, none of those places. After you've done this, the certified ethical hacker, and you're now a pen tester, you'll be in that area for another 3 years, 1 to 3 years. Again, this is where you may either be a part of a team or you might start leading a small team yourself. After that, you'll see yourself as either a cloud security engineer or application security engineer. Again, that's anywhere you want to go. Either one is fine. And then once you've done 3 to 5 years in your specialization, you can end up in leadership as a security architect or a chief information security officer. Again, either pathway gets you there, whether defensive or offensive, but depending on your personality, I would say that the ethical hacking, the pen testing, if you like to break things and figure out how they work, that's the pathway for you, right? I think I have about what, 4 more slides to go. So this is a compensation. And again, this is going to be denoted in USD. So you get to look at the amount that you can earn. Again, this is going to, for you to earn this amount, you're looking at leaving or being employed out of the country, right? So when you're looking at this 60 to 95,000, we're not translating it into Jamaican because one, we don't earn in USD, and two, you don't really want to do that comparison because you'll be wondering why did you ever not do this earlier. So you have where you be entry level, mid level, senior level. You have, of course, compensation and just a few of the name titles for jobs that you can have. So here, defining your work environment, whether you're going to do in office, fully remote, or flexi hybrid work. If you're gonna do government work or hardware-centric support or physical compliance with security, you're gonna be in office. You can do an analyst role for a SOC, which is a security operations center, or it can be a security manager. This allows you flexi hybrid work. It allows you to go in and out of office as you see fit. Well, as you and the company organize, you can be out of office even up to 3, 4 days a week. Or you can go straight into the fully autonomous role that an ethical hacker does have. They don't need to be in office to do anything because what you realize is that once you have connected yourself to the internet, you being in Jamaica physically doesn't stop you from heading into Santorini, Greece, or in Athens, or to the Louvre. If you want to go to Texas, all of these things are open to you in a virtual space as a fully autonomous remote worker and as an ethical hacker, right? So pursuing this particular certification, you're basically writing your own ticket. So just two more. So blueprint for the remote Jamaican professional, get your credentials. Grab your CEH plus and your CCST. So these skills are proven globally. You don't have to move anywhere. You can if you want to. Schedule. Highly autonomous. You can work when you feel like. If you're an early riser, you can work from 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. If you want to sleep late and get up midday, fine. If you want to be the person who burns the midnight oil, and the midnight oil is just our midnight oil because, again, the world never sleeps. Right now it is nighttime here, and it is what? 8 o'clock. There it is now. What's now? 8 and 5 is 13. So it's currently 1 o'clock somewhere in the world. And there are different time zones ahead of us. So in some places it's actually as early as what, 7 o'clock now. So people are just getting out of their houses to go to work while we are now sitting down here having this meeting. And you can be a part of that, right? And of course, the economics is incomparable. As you can see, you get to earn in foreign currency, which should mostly suit anybody's lifestyle. So the unified cyber ecosystem as to why you should do ethical hacking, you feel or you get to be a part of the stop, well, not even a stop yet. You get to be a part of the permanent solution to a deficit of 4 million persons. So you get job security and leverage because persons will see this and they'll become stumped or they'll feel like they're overwhelmed by the material and not go for it. You get the verification of your skills, right? So you get to prove that you know what you're doing. And based on the fact that Cisco has realized that gamification tends to work well, you get that component working for you. You get the continuous learning because the landscape for cybersecurity, even if you're not focusing straight on ethical hacking, even though you should be, the landscape is ever evolving. What we used to know about worms, what we used to know about malware on a whole, Trojans, remote access Trojans, even things simple like phishing, spear phishing, whaling. How many persons know about keyshing? And if you don't, you can always ask or answer the question in the chat and I'll see it in a little bit. Right? These are things that persons are not fully aware of. And if you're not aware of it, then how do you protect against it? This is where we come in as ethical hackers. We get to go out and try to break the systems within reason, within the scope of our work that we've been given by the different entities. And we get to report on them to our blue team counterparts who will then develop documentation and disseminate. And of course, you get lifestyle control because master of these highly technical skills, you get remote work, remote friendly skills. It can be ultimate freedom. You have persons who their consistent lifestyle is never spending more than a few weeks or maybe a month in a country, as long as they don't feel like it. And if you're doing ethical hacking, once you've built your rig, and of course, all of us in IT should know that the rig is going to be the terminology for the laptop that you're using to do this work. Once you've built a good enough rig and you have access to the net, you are not tied down anywhere because the whole world becomes your digital playground, right? So mastering this, getting your skills verified, are the next keys for you. So wrapping it up now, last slide. What's your next move? Enroll in this, the junior cybersecurity analyst or the ethical hacking course. You can either, well, you're still going to be using Networking Academy, but as I said, while it is free on the Networking Academy, what you're paying for is the experience that comes with being in the field already. You get to learn from the mistakes of your forebearers, myself and Mr. Brown. Or better, I don't even know. Let me not cast aspersion on Mr. Brown. I have made mistakes in the security sphere, so you get to learn from my mistakes. All right. Step two, you get to acquire fundamental knowledge in networking, Python, and Linux administration. Then you get to prepare for the capture the flag events. You get to challenge them. And bearing in mind, this is just one capture the flag event that Cisco hosts. There is a local capture the flag event that is held by the JDF Cyber Military Academy. It's held every year around October. And last year would have been the third staging of it, but thanks to Melissa, we didn't get to have it. But it is in the interest, or not even interest, it is the hope for Vector to field a team for this upcoming, yes, for this upcoming CTF that is going to be held at Up Park Camp. And depending on when we start, it might be a bit late because October, as I said, is right around the corner. But if not this year, then by next year, October, we should be fielding a team at the CTF. And if we have enough persons, we can field 2 or 3 teams. It's split into beginner and intermediate. So even if you feel like you're not there yet, you can still go. You'll learn. You'll meet other like-minded individuals from different schools and universities. And it's a good showing, to be fair. So what I'll leave you with is a quote below. Think like a hacker to defend like an analyst. The frontier is open, meaning it's just a play on the same phrase that everybody gives you. The world is your oyster. Once you have the skill set to do with it what you wish. I will thank you for taking the time to listen to me, and I'll turn over to Mr. Powell now.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Borland, for that deep nosedive into the ethical hacker, Cisco Ethical Hacker course, and to clear up one of the concerns that a few persons, I would have heard the concerns myself, right? And I tried to explain to them that there are actually 2 ways. There are actually 2 courses that are there, right? So one that is self-paced, and not so one of the main issues is that what is free and available on Cisco's platform is the fact that that is self-paced. So you can do that in your own time, or so on. But different persons learn at different pace, as well as they're different learners. And in a case like that, there is the instructor-led parallel to the course, which is what we have on offer at Vector, right? And of course, we basically hatch out a pathway for persons to actually take up the offerings accordingly. So thank you, Mr. Borland, thank you, Mr. Brown. Now, we're opening up the floor now for persons to ask questions, right? For persons to ask questions. So you can either choose to open your mic, or you can submit your questions in the chat. So I've seen whereby, I think Jerome Thompson. So for someone like myself who has had an interest in cybersecurity, what would you recommend I start with? Because I did some research, and some said to start with networking. Is this accurate to start there, or it is accurate to start there? So you can maybe answer that question, Mr. Borland. Yeah.
So what I would say is I wouldn't say that necessarily it's accurate to start with networking, because as you saw, we have a wide base. Cybersecurity covers the field, the range is so wide, because if you're going to be an attacker, right? Because you saw that we have red team and blue team. Our red team is going to be our attackers. Those are the persons who definitely have to do networking. You need to understand protocols you need to know different attacks. So basically, basic brute force attacks. So networking is a good first point to start with if you're going to be a red teamer. If you're going to be blue teaming, then you're going to need to do things more from an analytical standpoint. You're going to be looking at the threat analysis that is provided by your pen testers. You'd be looking at the vulnerabilities that they would have provided upon doing the reconnaissance into the networks that would have been provided, as well as the defense from the malware that has been executed. So that is that networking can be a good point. It all depends on where you're planning to go in cybersecurity.
Okay. I'm hoping that that would have been but just to simplify for someone that is starting out, again, what would have been the prerequisites needed, and even based on the experience so far in teaching the course?
Prerequisites overall, math, IT, and something that gives you analytical thinking. It doesn't have to be, but preferably a science, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. It can be even in literature. I found that persons who have had to look at things from a different viewpoint are some of our better cybersecurity practitioners. Anybody who thinks outside of the box. So
Yeah.
math, IT,
So any critical thinking based knowledge course discipline being complemented with IT and math.
yes.
Okay, good. All right.
Oh, as well as English, because you're gonna have a lot of report writing to do. Trust me, even as a pen tester.
Okay. All right. So that's that. So Sharon, you have your hand up. You can open your mic and ask a question.
All right, good evening, everyone. Picking back on Mr. Thompson's question. Okay, so you guys said that it can be found on the NetAcad Academy website. But I have tried that website before, and I find that reading doesn't help me much. I like to have someone explaining things to me and giving me examples. But considering that I don't have your guys' website said that I need certain things as prerequisite. So I was wondering if I can enroll in the course if I get through and learn certain things on the side to help me pass through the course. Would that be possible, or do I need those before I start the course?
You want to, Mr. Borland? Or
I think
Mr.
Mr. Brown.
Brown?
Mr.
Mr.
Brown,
Brown, you want to get that?
So, right, thanks. The well, just a follow-up question before I answer. The course is the ethical hacker course you're thinking of when you mentioned that in terms of starting?
I did the Cisco fundamentals on the NetAcad Academy before.
Cisco fundamentals. All right, so I'm not sure of which course that is, but let me give you the broad answer. So the ethical hacker course, while from a Cisco's point of view, there is no prerequisite, but based on the content and the level of difficulty, it is best, and we have defined a prerequisite of the Cisco Cybersecurity Essentials. For persons who do not have the prior exposure in terms of having done security courses or having completed some prior certifications, the recommendation is that those prospective students do the cybersecurity essentials. That would have someone well prepared to be able to do the ethical hacking course. And for the cybersecurity essentials, the prerequisite would be the 3 CXE entry requirement that Mr. Borland spoke of. So math slash IT and English is what we're looking at. So 3 courses, 3 CXE takes you into the cybersecurity essentials. And having completed the cybersecurity essentials, you are ready for the ethical hacking course.
Okay, so follow up. The cybersecurity essentials is offered on the NetAcad Academy, or do I have to do it through Vector Technology?
It's called the cyber Mr. Borland, help me here with the name.
Cybersecurity
Cybersecurity.
essentials.
Sorry,
So they're
Cybersecurity
no,
essential.
there are more than one. So you have intro to cybersecurity, and then you also have cybersecurity essentials. So those two lead into, well, intro to cybersecurity leads into cybersecurity essentials, which will then lead into certified ethical hacker. And yes, all of them are hosted on the NetAcad site. But again, the instructor led for persons who don't sit and read by themselves to absorb information. The instructor led courses are generally better for you because it does give you, as I said, the experience. The lectures allow you to avoid certain pitfalls. Case in point, some of the exams, they'll ask you some questions, and we get to show you what exactly is to be expected in sitting an exam. You get to learn the theoretical or book answer to pass the exam, but then you also learn that being in the field, there are certain other things that you would do to kind of be more efficient as a practitioner.
All right. So David Rowe. So he's asking the question, is the Google Cybersecurity certificate, if it prepares you to do this course?
Having not looked at the Google cybersecurity course, it's going to be difficult to answer. So I would recommend that do apply and share that information or certificate with the admin team, and then we would be able to take a look at it and provide a clearer response.
But as a cursory glance, what I'd say to you, David, is that not that it does or doesn't give you the preparation for it, because every course with cybersecurity will give you some amount of foundation. But what you'd also need to note is that for Cisco courses, you're going to have a lot of material that is going to be focused on the Cisco appliances. So that is where you might find some shortfalls. And with Google, more than likely, you end up getting some vendor neutral ideas or vendor neutral solutions for certain aspects. So you'll be able to do a comparison between both and see. But I wouldn't say that it is going to prepare you for, and I don't want to tell you that it won't prepare you. But the foundation that you get is good.
All right. So as Mr. Brown pointed out, so if the course, if you're interested in the course and say you are a recipient of that certification, you can apply, submit that as well, and we'll make a comparison and a determination as to the pathway that you can take. All right. So that would be that. All right. Babette Spencer.
And Andre, if I can chime in a little bit,
Yeah.
remember we have the test that we do. So for persons who would have think that they have the requisite knowledge, they're not opting to do the cybersecurity essentials course or any prerequisite course, right? We have an exemption test that they can sit, right, Mr. Borland?
That is true, Miss Edwards. So we do have that course. It basically simulates a testing environment for the security analyst course. And what that does is it gives us an idea of where you're supposed to be. Of course, it's the same pass mark as the other courses that are on the Cisco platform, which is about 70%. Um, what that does is we basically test you on all the areas that would be covered or that would need to be covered, sorry, as foundational for the Certified Ethical Hacking course. This is assuming that you're not coming in with any credentials, or even if you do have, for example, the Google search and such, if you are, basically to give us a gauge us on where you are in the cybersecurity space. And if it is a case that you're not passing this test, then we recommend you do the security essentials, and you get a little bit of a quick refresher, and then you can transition into the certified ethical hacker.
All right. So good. So Bobette, your question was answered in the chat by Miss Edwards, right? How long
Yes, yes, she did.
Okay, great. Any other questions to field to the presenters?
I had spoken before,
Yeah,
but
sure.
I went back on the Skills for All website and I did the introduction to cybersecurity. I see where it was posted in the chat about the cybersecurity essential course, but I'm not finding it on the website. Could you direct me where exactly I can find it?
Which course are you looking
So
for?
I think I
Skills
can.
for All, the NetAcad.
I have it up here, so I'm going to share my screen. Let's see where. Right. Right. So hopefully you're seeing my screen now.
Yes, I'm seeing it.
Right. So the cybersecurity essentials, you will not see that as a self-paced course. It is not available as self-paced. What is available as self-paced is the junior cybersecurity analyst, which covers the same content as the cybersecurity essentials. Right? Cybersecurity essentials is a instructor-led course, so you wouldn't have access to that self-paced. So hence why you wouldn't find it. Now, what you can do in terms of your search is, let me just, so if you
No, I
start
find that one.
this one, Junior Cybersecurity Analyst.
Yes, I see it as career paths.
Right. So this now will include a number of individual courses. And so that all of these courses, Introduction to Cybersecurity, Networking Basics, Networking Devices and Initial Configuration, Endpoint Security, Network Defense, Cyber Threat Management, all of those would now form this junior cybersecurity analyst career pathway. When you complete all of those, it is the same as the cybersecurity essentials, which is done as a instructor-led course.
After which I can then apply for the ethical hacker course.
Correct. But let me ask, what's if you're okay to state, what's your current exposure to cybersecurity? Are there courses you have already done? Um,
Yes, I've done the introduction to
oh,
cybersecurity course.
okay. Right. So you So you've done the first of the 6.
Yes.
Okay, right. So you'd have, if you are planning to do it self-paced, then you'd have 5 more to go.
All right then. But you guys didn't mention the start date for the certificate, also the cost.
Well, I think
No,
maybe.
not for the junior cybersecurity. I mean for the ethical hacker course, so that I can prepare myself
Okay.
for.
Right, I can take that one, Mr. Brown.
All right, good. So that would lead us basically into the admissions part now in terms of those things.
Right. So we have a group that started the Cybersecurity Essentials. They had a start date in June. So they're currently going through that pathway course with the intention of enrolling ethical hacker about October thereabout. So the ethical hacker course itself is supposed to commence in mid-October thereabout. However, for persons who would need to do the cybersecurity essentials, the prerequisite course, if you need to do it instructor-led, you'll have to wait until next year, maybe about, we'll have a tentative date for February of next year before we can start another cohort. So currently right now, if you have, the requisite knowledge and you think, you have experience enough to enroll in ethical hacker, then you can apply, submit your documents, and we'll assess them, and then you can sit this proficiency test that I had mentioned before. If you pass the test, then you can enroll directly into the Cisco Ethical Hacker course. If you don't, then you'll have to wait on the next sitting of Cybersecurity Essentials, which is in 2027, about February thereabout. So the cost of the Cisco Ethical Hacker course currently is 49,500 Jamaican dollars. That does not include the participation in the Capture a Flag event. It's just for the course itself. All right. So if you're interested in applying or registering, feel free to contact us. You can reach us via email or contact number. I'll post it in the chat. I will also have a WhatsApp number. I'll post that in the chat as well. And we will send over information to you. If you need to do the cybersecurity essentials course, you can let us know. We'll add you to the mailing list. And as soon as we confirm the start date for next year, then we will notify you.
All right. Can I know the cost of the cybersecurity essentials course?
Okay, so currently the cybersecurity essentials course is 39,000 Jamaican dollars.
All right, thanks.
Right. May not be the same for next year. That's the current price.
All right, and those courses are concurrent, right? After I finish the essentials, I go straight into the hacker course.
Yes, because it's the preparation, it's the pathway for ethical hacker. So they run concurrently.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right, so are there any other questions? I think we're at that mark right now. I mean, initially we had promised an hour, but of course, when information nice, information nice. All right, so it's now 8:30. So if there are no more concerns or questions, then we can pretty much begin to bring this proceeding to a close. Going once, going twice. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, so as we conclude tonight's information session, really and truly, I'd like to extend, my sincere appreciation and gratitude to our presenters, Mr. Brown and Mr. Borland, for sharing their expertise and valuable insights on the subject at hand. So this evening really has demonstrated that success in today's technology industry depends not only on the academic qualifications, but also on practical skills and continuous learning and the industry recognized certification. So whether your goal is to become a network engineer, cybersecurity analyst, ethical hacker, systems administrator, cloud professional, or a software developer, overall, within the IT space, your journey begins with the decision to invest in yourself. And no better time than now. So at Vector, really and truly, we continue to be committed to helping our students and our stakeholders to acquire the practical experience and the internationally recognized credentials needed to be competitive within the space. So with that said, I want to thank each and every one of you guys. Thank you to Mr. Brown again. Thank you to Mr. Borland. Thank you, Miss Edwards, for joining in and to play your part. And thank you, most importantly, to you, our invited guests, to come and sit in and listen to this information session. Most definitely, this whole idea of micro is very important, and you can look out for another in the series of these information session when we might focus on another area within IT as it relates to how we can prepare for things like those. So I would say thank you very much, everyone. And for those who are traveling, take your time, be safe, safe travels home. For those who are already home, good night. And I hope you guys spend some time and meditate on the information that was supplied to you tonight. And hopefully.
And Andre, special thanks to our graduates. I'm seeing a few of them.
Very good.
I'm so pleased. Yes, yes. Danielle, Babette, Jordan. Thank you guys very much.
Very good. So that in itself indicates that you're still interested in keeping up the levels as set by you at Vector. So take care and have a good night. Peace, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so much.